everyone, it's Elliot and today we are making candles. Pretty easy to make candles, so hopefully you can learn something from this video. You are gonna need a few things to make candles and I will show you that now. Okay, so these are some of the things that you will need in order to make candles. So we have a metal container and this is where you're going to put the wax and melt it over boiling water. You're also gonna need a container to put your candle in. I have this wick in here because you're also going to need some wick. This is what you use to light a candle on fire. And then you're gonna need a container. It should be metal or glass. I'm not really sure what containers in total you can use, but glass is pretty much the best option. Also, you will need some wax. I use soy wax because it is softer, it's less plasticky looking. It's not that great if you want to make like a clear candle because this naturally has a pigment to it that's kind of a beige nude color. And you're also gonna need some dye. Now, this is an experimental thing. Usually what I see with candle dyes is they come in like wax bars. Now, I just want you to know that I am a noob when it comes to making candles, but at least I kind of know how to do it. So that's why I want to make a video of it. And I've never tried using food dye to do this, so it might not work. If not, you will know that you cannot use food dye to dye your candles. Another thing that is optional actually, but if you want your candle to have a smell, this is not optional, is some kind of scent. This is a cinnamon bun scent and they actually sell this kind of stuff at the craft store. You can get an entire kit that comes with a smell, wax, everything for like, I believe $20 at Hobby Lobby. And this is also optional, but I'm gonna put some glitter on top of it. This is extra fine craft glitter that you can just kind of sprinkle on top. More optional stuff is some trim that I'm gonna put around or maybe tie in a bow around this. And this is sage that I'm gonna like break into pieces and put on top of the candle. So, let's begin. Okay, so the first step in candle making is to pour your wax into the container and also to boil water. So I did that already, so we have about this much wax, which is probably a little overboard for a container this small, but you can always use the extra wax left over for another project, so don't worry about it. So now that our water is boiling, we're just going to take the lid off, lower the heat a bit so you don't burn yourself, and make sure to have proper hand protection. And you're just going to put the container over it, and you're just going to wait for the wax to melt. This could take up to a few minutes, so you might be standing here for a while, but I'm not really too sure if you can just kind of leave this hanging here. Better safe than sorry, and make sure you don't burn that. Update, you can leave it, just make sure it doesn't boil over. Okay, so while this is boiling, I'm going to set up the container. So we have our wicks. You're going to want to put the wicks in the container before you pour the wax. Otherwise, it won't work. So you have to go ahead and center it the way you want. I'm going to be using 2 wicks for this candle because it's a pretty wide candle and I want the wax to burn evenly. So this is our wax. It is melting nicely. It does take some time. And once it is all melted, we're going to start adding our color and our scent. Okay, so our wax is almost done melting. I'm gonna add the scent to it while it's heating up in there. Now, usually when I make these candles, the scent is not that strong. I'm not sure why this is the case, as I am still a noob making candles. However, I'm going to try adding more scent than usual, and hopefully it'll be a stronger smell. We're just gonna throw in a lot of drops. That was a lot. And we're gonna stir it in there. I recommend using a tool that you don't really like to use. This is an ugly spoon that we have that's like bent and weird, so I'm gonna use this one to kind of stir the smell into the wax and evenly distribute it. Get back here. Get back here. Don't put this on your counter, put it on a napkin. Okay, now we are going to experiment and add some red food dye to the wax. I don't think this will work, but I'm just gonna add like maybe 3 drops. Alright, so like I said earlier, I was gonna see if this worked. This does not work. It created polka dots in my wax, but that's okay. We're just gonna roll with it, and we are going to now pour the wax over the candle. Alright, so you're gonna wanna make sure to hold on to some of the wicks because it will fall, as you can see. Oh, beans! So if one of them falls, like what happened to me, just get another one and position it correctly in there. Okay, so we have learned a few things. Pour the wax slower, hold on to the wick, and have something that could help balance the wick. However, this is a learning process, a learning curve, and usually it works pretty well. Now what you have to do is you have to wait for the wax to set. You don't want it to be fully done, you just have to wait for it to cool down, and then you can start adding things on top of it. Also, an update, that food dye, when I was pouring the wax, it has a different density, so it actually didn't pour into the candle, luckily, so we will not have polka dotted candle dye. So as you can see, our wax is almost done setting. The top is still a little bit unset or uncooled. So now we're going to add the decorations on top. I have extra fine glitter and I have some dried flowers and sage, so I'm just gonna sprinkle it on top and make it look aesthetic. So I just wanted to show you in natural lighting what the candle turned out like. It's kind of random, but this is what it looks like.